Hi folks, Ergelt here. In my last healthy eating video, I mentioned that food manufacturers have some tricks they use to get you to consume more of their products. Today I'd like to discuss one of those tricks. I grew up with the understanding that there are 4 basic taste sensations: sour, bitter, sweet, and salty. The eating experience is modified by the various combinations of these tastes and by the odors you pick up with your nose. But science doesn't stand still, and it's now widely accepted that there is a 5th taste sensation, which is universally termed umami, a Japanese word that roughly means savory. It's a taste sensation that is agreeable to the palate. And the substances which excite umami receptors in your mouth are several forms of amino acids, the basic building blocks of proteins. Glutamic acid is an amino acid commonly found in many foods. What food manufacturers have figured out is that if they add in the sodium salt form of glutamic acid, called monosodium glutamate, you'll like the food more. In fact, the presence of MSG can compensate for food that's otherwise bland or even unpalatable. The flavor has been called the taste of protein, and it may fool your mouth into thinking that low-protein foods actually contain proteins your body needs. Most chefs prefer to appeal to the umami receptors by including natural sources of amino acids in their recipes, such as soy sauce, fish sauce, and Parmesan cheese. Very few chefs will use the food additive monosodium glutamate, which they consider to be a cheap, artificial, and less satisfying solution. But that doesn't stop food manufacturers from putting monosodium glutamate into a dizzying array of consumer products. In addition to MSG, there are other salts of amino acids that do the same thing in food. These include hydrolyzed soy protein, autolyzed yeast, and sodium casseinate. As far as I can tell, the reason the food industry uses these different salts of amino acids is the general public distrust of MSG. They're slipping these food additives in under your radar. So are these food additives safe to eat? That, my friends, is the big question, and scientists are divided over this issue. I'll lightly touch on some of the sources of controversy. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration classified MSG as generally recognized as safe in 1959. Since then, some questions have been raised by various scientific studies, but it's never been revoked. For example, an unknown percentage of the population may react to MSG and develop MSG Symptom Complex, with one or more of the following symptoms: burning sensation in the back of neck, forearms, and chest, numbness in the back of the neck radiating to the arms and back, tingling, warmth, and weakness in face, temples, upper back, neck, and arms, facial pressure or tightness, chest pain, headache, nausea, rapid heartbeat, weak pulse, violent dreams, bronchospasm, which means difficulty in breathing in people with asthma, drowsiness, weakness. Onset of these symptoms in sensitive people tends to occur within 1 hour after eating about 3 grams of MSG. A reaction is most likely if the MSG is consumed in a large quantity at once or in a liquid, such as a clear soup. MSG has also been used in newborn laboratory mice to induce obesity. However, there are very large differences between human and mouse biologies. The absence of human studies has produced varying interpretations among scientists that remain unresolved. We simply don't know if MSG makes people fat. MSG is in a class of chemicals known as excitotoxins. Very high levels of excitotoxins have been shown in hundreds of animal studies to cause damage to certain areas of the brain, and a variety of chronic diseases can arise out of this neurotoxicity. It's thought possible by some scientists that the toxic effects of MSG in food may be cumulative with other excitotoxins, such as aspartic acid from aspartame, an artificial sweetener. The jury is still out on salts of amino acids in their various forms. Science isn't sure. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration has not yet seen compelling evidence to reclassify MSG and other salts of amino acids as harmful, except possibly in sensitive people, and there's no data on how many people may be sensitive. Well, I'm one of the sensitives, and I've known other people who are too, so I don't think it's rare. I found out about my own sensitivity while eating soup at a Chinese restaurant. It made me nauseous, caused my face to flush red, and produced a moderate headache. Since then, I've avoided MSG. What I didn't know until recently is that salts of other amino acids are added to many other foods by different names. That makes it tough to protect myself. The bottom line is that there is some science supporting the notion that MSG and other salts of amino acids may be harmful to some people. But science doesn't yet have a consensus, and it's not likely to reach a consensus anytime soon. I don't think MSG is nearly as harmful as caffeine. It doesn't seem to be addictive, but it can be used to fool you into liking a food more than you normally would. And that's why the food industry adds it to their products. I think that's sort of a lie, covering up poor quality, nutritional inadequacy, or unpalatable food with artificial taste additives. And I'm uneasy about the long-term safety of consuming this stuff every day. So I think it's probably a good idea to avoid MSG and the other salts of amino acids I've talked about in this video, including sodium casseinate, hydrolyzed proteins, and autolyzed yeast. If you want to eat healthy, then eat good food, not bad food with additives to make it taste good. Thank you for watching.